Namaste, welcome. Today is our slow flow practice. The idea with the slow flow is coordinating those movements with the breath and working kind of on finding that fluidness in life. So, this would be a warming practice, but a very fluid practice. So, it would have a little bit of that water, but the warming would be the fire piece. So, we're working on taking our time. So, as we do this, we're going to be checking in with our higher self, with ourself, as we go through this practice, making sure that we're taking an adequate pace to enhance our overall well-being, but to honor our place where we are today. Um, so we kind of check in quite often, a little bit of a gut check, a little bit of a checking in with the heart, and make sure we're doing something that's also going to be nourishing for us in the long run. So we'll begin in the practice today, just bringing our mind first to that heart space. We're going to take the thumb and the pinkies together. They have a slight pressure as the rest of the hands pull out. The hands are going to sit and the wrist, it's almost as though the forearms sit on the low ribs below the chest here. The tendency is to think we're up here. That's actually really close to the throat chakra. The heart center chakra is actually a little bit lower than you might think, lower heart. So we would think the base of the heart. We're going to go ahead and sit nice and tall and create a downward traction of the elbows with a tucking of the chin and an upward traction of the back of the skull. A downward traction of the tailbone and an upward traction pubic bone to navel in the front body. These tractions are with effort and softened around the edges to find a balance. We'd prefer not to have something too rigid, nor do we want something too lax. Go ahead and take some deep breaths in and out of the nose. As you inhale, we inhale into a belly that relaxes, opening the entire lung. As we exhale, the navel to spine and perineum draw up and back. Continue the breath and see if you can let the breath, yes, become deep in the belly and at the low ribs, but can you breathe it up to surround the physical heart space, the top, the bottom of the heart, the front, the back, all directions? As if you're expanding out in 8 directions from the heart and drawing in or relaxing to the center of those 8 directions. Forward, back, left, right, and your diagonals. As if expanding your sensitivity to longer waves of time. So the heart is the emotion or the time, how time passes. How much we still have stuck around the heart chakra depends on how far in the past it might be. Yes, the impression as well. They say move on, meaning put more events between you and what happened, increasing the timeline. So we stretch out beyond our timeline. We stretch out beyond the timeline of our life, maybe even the timeline of our direct ancestors. We stretch not just 7 generations back in ancestry and 7 generations forward, projecting, but we continue to expand that timeline beyond the building of this planet and the future of it. allowing this to be a moment, the moment we're experiencing. And without resistance, knowing the content of this moment will change, even briefly, even in the short term. Any silent intentions you want to place for your practice today, park them in the heart's mind. We'll make the sound yam, Y-A-M, opening the throat as though it opens through the entire throat and down all the way the esophagus region, if you would, to the area around the heart. Allow it to expand. Inhale. In. Reverberate in all directions. In. Center the hands and release them. Circling up, in breath. And out breath. Beginning that awakening stretch. Inhale, circle up, lift through the chin, the heart, the eyes. Exhale, hands down. Third and final. In. Hands pressure. They come to the heart center, striking that balance and releasing it down. Opening it gently, we'll start side to side, so we're going to reach up, drawing up and over, pressing through the ribs. So I reach the opposite hip down from the direction I'm stretching. Lift the ribs, push into those ribs. Lift up and look through the eyes. Look up towards the palm if possible. Inhale, coming up, clearing the sides of the heart. And exhale, drawing, press into that hip, into those ribs. Draw through this, up through the top. Inhale. And exhale, lift up. Good. Bring that hand down and just give it a gentle turn. So I'm opening along the back outer side body now. Good. Inhale, come up, swing that same hand around behind the back. Take a twist. Good breath. Centering, inhale. Starting the other side. Reach up, exhale. Drawing up and over, pressing into those ribs. Try and lift up. Bring the hand down, roll to the back outer ribs. Press and lift into the back outer ribs. Chin in. Swing that hand behind and take a nice twist. Exhale. Good. Inhale, we come back. Good. Opening the spine, we're going to open the shoulders. So we're going to inhale, lift them. Exhale, drop them. In. Out. In. Two more. Good. Releasing that down. We're going to take the chin and roll it down and sweep one ear to one side. We're going to lift up, pressing into the outside of the top of the head while trying to draw over. So I'm not just draping the head. I'm actually trying to lift. Strengthening and drawing and opening here. We're going to bring the chin down, come across, and lift the other direction. Opening up. Bring that chin to chest. And then exhale, we're going to lift the chin. Lift the heart and lift the chin. Open the shoulders. Inhale, and then exhale, chin down, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Coming up, inhale, we're going to take those hands, point the fingers down, pull them to the wrists, shoulders down, and then exhale, push them away. So working on moving the prana and the circulation through the hands. Bring the fingertips to the underside of the wrist. Then open the hands, seat the wrist, push them away. Fingers pull towards the face. Bring the hands back a little bit. Opening. Bring the hands in. And then push and draw out. Good. Draw in. And draw out. Draw in. And draw out. Good. Inhale. Arms come up. Interlace and press up. Good. Reach nice and high. And then take the hands and interlace, one finger pointing up. Exhale. Lean back through the chest. Lifting the heart, but rooting the tailbone. So there's traction down the tailbone. There's traction up the navel. And hands come down. Clearing and opening. Let's come around onto all fours. So our nice beginning warm up, tabletop pose, and begin to move around a little bit. You can do some hip circles so you'll know what to check out with your body here. So remember we talked about making sure that you are moving from a place of benefit, of nourishment. That nourishment might need to be increasing strength, increasing action. That nourishment might be after a really hard week and needing to find some softness and tenderness. So you'll have to find that part of your practice. Do you need to push yourself today or do you need to find that care? And we're really talking, of course, on a physical level and a little on the energetic level. So we're pushing forward and back with the hips. We could begin our cat-cow. So start by arching the spine. We're going to hold it today for a moment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and round. Push up. Lift through the ribs. Drop the tailbone. Chin to chest. 3, 2, 1. Go back and forth now. Arching and rounding. Take the feet wide or knees wide. Go ahead and press it back, child's pose, but bring the arms back behind you. Rest there for a moment. Allow the head to stay down. Then when you're ready, we're going to come back up. Begin just to stretch. Bring those knees back under the hips. Stretch one foot back. Try and balance the hips. So you notice one hip likes to drop. So please be mindful not to let that hip drop. We're just going to curl the toes, stretch back through the heel, soften the heart. And then you can push back into the heel a little bit. So we're opening through that calf muscle, just getting that nice and clear. You can come to center. The core action would be to lift and lift. Try to press up through the glutes and point the toes down. You can do a little bit of pulsing, but it's barely noticeable. And then we bring it down. Let's try the other side. So you're going to take one foot back, the opposite foot, okay? Curl those toes, Go ahead and get a nice stretch. Try not to drop the hip on that side. So there's a nice stability occurring here, okay? Fingers are wide. Chest is forward. We're going to lift that back leg. Turn the toe in, stretch forward. Reach. And then go ahead and bring it back down. Good. This time, knees together. Slide it back. Child's pose. Closed child's pose. Open the low back. Inhale. Begin to rise up, tabletop. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Curl the toes under. Take the feet wider than you might usually. So we're starting kind of with this wider downward facing dog. Pushing the hands, sliding up through those hips. So it's as the hips become buoyant, rising, lifting, free. And the chest becomes pouring and easy. Remember that relaxed heart that we started with. So we push through the hands, stretch back up through the hips, and relax the heart. And we try to find a balance between these two, between the drawing up and the easing of the chest. You can bring the feet a little bit closer if it's feeling open to you. Try to press back through the front of the shins. Walk forward. Take a partway lift. Inhale. Head, heart, eyes forward. Opening hamstrings. Opening back of calves. Exhale. Pour it over. Inhale. Partway lift. One leg steps back. Knee down. So we're opening up. Draw yourself forward a little bit in that front leg. Keep the nice alignment. Don't let the knee splay out. Bring your chest forward. Lift your sternum. Stretch that back leg. Lift up. Keep the hip center. Draw in with the inner groin. This is a Mula Bandha. So I don't want to completely collapse in the center of the legs. I want to stretch them, yes, but without collapse. So hug in, draw forward, and lift the chin. Good. Here we can take a grasshopper lizard pose. So take one foot out to the side a little, and lift the hips and bow forward. Now there can be an advanced lizard pose. It depends if you're warm enough for that. Knee can come up, or if you have that in your practice. Otherwise, you might just come down. Sometimes you can come onto a block, elbows down. Some people like to come to the floor. So it really just depends on what your body's going to call for today. Lift that back hip, draw that sternum forward, power that back leg. We're coming up to that high lunge, nice and tall, lifting forward through the chest. Stabilizing, and as you're ready, draw forward, lifting up, sliding that leg into place, rocking forward and back in the feet till you find a centered point. Balance and bow that chest. Bend the knees, inhale, circle it up, and exhale, slide it back. So we draw the hip bones back, but we hug the glutes forward, or the thigh bones back, but we hug the glutes forward. Press with the glutes, lift with the chest, press up with the back of the chest open. And then hands come to heart. Exhale, draw it to center. Stand for a moment. Samastitihi, saw face you. You can start with feet wider or together. Just depends on you. Pushing down, tall spine. Releasing, sweep up, inhalation, exhalation, bowing over. Head, heart, eyes forward. We're going to take your opposite leg back. So whatever leg you didn't have forward, for me it's my right leg. Left leg is forward. We're going to slide gently into that front leg. Now we are trying to find a nice stretch. So I'm pushing forward. I like the word drawing a little bit better. So I'm drawing forward, lifting through the chest, keeping a strength on the inner groin through the seat of the pelvic floor. Draws in and up, chest forward, chin tucks, spine long. That whole sacral cranial pump is open and expansive. You can come into your lizard pose. You'll park one hand inside the front leg. So whichever leg that is, we're going to take it out to the side. Toes open is okay. Make sure you don't bend the ankle. You can open the foot, but don't bend the ankle. Choose how you want to come down. Lift the hips, maybe just slight bend of the elbow, maybe to blocks, maybe to floor. Maybe you power up that back body, lifting that back foot off the floor, back knee off the floor. When you're done there, you're going to come back to center. Curl those back toes. Power up that back leg. Anjaneyasana, high lunge. We're going to step it back, downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. Feet might come closer this time. You might keep them wider. Press down through the hands. Buoyantly lift up through the hip. Find the freedom in the heart. Broaden the shoulders. Root the outer heels down. Nod the head. Press all hand into the floor. High plank, so we shift. I'm going to come up and over to the ball of the foot, lifting, drawing up with the back body, pushing back with the heels and forward with the head. So I distribute the prana. Exhale, slow chaturanga. Hover, release. Hands next to the heart. You can take with the feet wider for this first one. Tops of the thighs turn inward. Press through the hands. Draw forward with the chest. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Release down. Curl the toes, lift up and back. Downward facing dog or child's pose. So this just depends on what you need. Take a breath here. You're either in downward facing dog or you're in that relaxing child's pose. Again, this has to do with the nourishment you need. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Hold that leg center. Keep a strong core, pushing back. Drawing up, foot is active. Whole leg is pushing equally into the sky, the back of the leg. We're going to bring that knee through the chest, lift up high, step it through, lunge pose. Nice and steady. Chest forward. Step it up. Partway lift. Inhale. Use blocks if you need to. So I always have blocks handy. If you need the blocks, put them there. Exhale. Take your forward fold. Inhale. Head, heart, eyes forward. Seat the hips. Draw up. Utkatasana. Chair pose. So here I'm going to face you for this one. Feet are steady. I like to lift my toes. This just shows that my weight's not shifting forward in my toes and into my knees. Root and scoop and that flesh of the glutes down. Lift up through the heart. Sinking. Sink those hips. Lift the chest in equal proportion. And when you're ready, take your dive. Exhale. Bow it out. Bend the knees. Head, heart, eyes forward. Right leg's going back. Lunge. Hold the pose. Bring the chest forward. So a lot of times this stays here. Instead, I want to draw that chest forward. Lift through the center bridge of the body. Step it back. Vinyasa if you like. Child's pose or downward dog if you choose not to. Pressing it back. Come forward. High plank. Exhale. Chaturanga. So from here, chaturanga. Inhale. Cobra pose. Pushing up. Chest open. Chin down. Finding that nice. Go ahead and look over one shoulder for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw up. Look over the other shoulder for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Center and down. Pushing up and back. Clear it out. Child's pose. Stretch the hands. Inhale. We draw forward, lifting up. Press through the hips. Nod the head. Relax that chest. Inhale. Right leg's going to draw up. Stepping it through in center. We'll start low with a nice twist. So go ahead and begin to turn towards whatever leg you have forward. That hand comes up. Lift through the center of the pelvic girdle. Draw up, reach through the hand. 5, 4, breathing, 3, 2, 1. We come down, circle, lift that back heel, knee, come up, crescent. So we draw up, hips sink down, chest is forward, front knee is not in front of the ankle. Open through the heart, hands to heart, navel to spine. Give it a turn. Hands at the heart, prayer twist. I'll show you on the other side in just a second. Come through, reach up, and come down. Hands to the floor. Go ahead, step it back, downward dog. Stay here, choose vinyasa, lower down. Bhujangasana, rising up. Releasing. And drawing. Other foot, so I'll show you on the other side. Take that foot, step it forward, drop that back knee. Bottom hand inside, reach up, lift through the pelvic girdle, reach through the hand. Open through the heart, hug that front knee center. Hand comes forward and down, circling. Curl the back toes, lift the back heel, inhale, crescent, lunge. So rising up, hips sink down. Chest is up, nice and open. Reach, push back, draw, draw, draw. Then bring hands to heart. Give it a go. Turn, elbow past knee, hands to chest. Nice and center, strong back leg. Put in that effort. Hug the muscles. Hands to center, hands to floor. Vinyasa or downward dog. Child's pose will be fine. Chaturanga. Cobra. Release. And up and back. Feet are wide. One hand outside the shin, revolve downward dog. Draw forward, other side. Center. Feet back to middle, one leg steps up. For me, I took my right leg. We're going to go through that high crescent again and work on a little bit of that balance piece. So I'm going to come up, arms above, bend that knee. We're going to take a dip. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach back, reach, reach, reach. You can power up that back leg, stay in that balance. We're going to circle open that left hand, left foot. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So it settles, shoulders down. Settle in that front leg. Sink the hips. Sink the body. Look over the front arm, down the chin. Nice series, reversing your warrior. Back hand, back leg. Push, draw up, reach, draw back. Open that side body. Keep extending. Come up. Extended side angle, elbow to thigh. Arm over the head. Reach, reach, reach. Sink the hips, sink the body. Coming up, reversing triangle. So you might shorten the pose a little. Draw up, lift. Sink the hip. Pull it back. Reach that hand as though it's being pulled forward and draw it to the floor. Reach that other arm up. You can bend that knee if you need to take pressure off. You can use a block if you need to take pressure off. Good breath. Vira 2, Warrior 2. We come all the way back up. Reach and extend. Okay, nice. Let's do the other side. You can take a child's pose rest or vinyasa between. So I'm going to circle those hands down, get that block out of the way, step it back, downward dog. Stay there, come forward, chaturanga. Up, cobra. Down. Downward dog. Left side, okay? Left foot up, steps forward. Starting with that high crescent lunge, that balancing piece. Arms come up, sink the hips, sink the body, reach, draw back with the chest, bending that back knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Powering it up nice and strong. Open through the chest. Draw forward. Reach. Good. We're going to come up and open. I'll turn around, actually. So I came up and open. Right foot is open. Right hand is open. Hips are square to the side, so they're open on one plane. So I could fit between a very, very, very narrow hallway or 2 walls. All the body would be on one plane, lifting up, reversing your warrior. Draw, lift. Reach. Extended side angle, elbow to thigh, arm over the head, reach, chest open. Roll it gently. Coming up, reverse triangle. Draw, reach. Lift up through the heart. Coming forward, Trikonasana. Front hand feels like it's being pulled forward. Hand to block, hand to floor. I avoid hand to shin. You can put hand to shin as long as you don't push down or weight on that shin. Okay, so you'll see that happen. Shoulder open, hand open, chest forward. So we root through the hips. We drink up from the earth, through the legs, to the core, and then it opens through the chest. Good. Come back up, warrior 2. Very nice. Okay, so we come all the way through. Nice cartwheel, your choice. Stay in downward dog, find child's pose. Another vinyasa coming down. Downward dog. Few breaths here. Push the hands forward. Draw up through the low front hips, low back. Cascade the glutes down. Child's pose, knees together, head down. A couple of breaths here. So we want to find a return to a paced breath. So sometimes the breath becomes elevated, the heart rate. So we pay attention to that. Take some deep breaths. Good. We're going to come all the way forward onto the belly. We're going to take the legs, lifting them up and placing the hands forward. So a really long piece here. So lift, 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 strong in the chest. This should not hurt the low back. If it does, engage more in the glutes. Protect the low back using the belly, pressing up with the legs. Or skip this and just bring the hands forward like a seal pose. That would be more of a yin yoga. If you want to increase, bring the arms up. Strengthening, lifting, and releasing. Head can come down, turn the head one side, take a breath. Turn it the other way. We're going to stretch those legs back through the tops of the thighs. We're going to bring the feet up, reaching for the foot. You can hold wherever you can get to on the foot. Roll the shoulders. Inhale, begin to rise up. Bow pose. So chest forward, thighs press down. Feet are active. Shoulder blades are hugging. Neck is free. Low back is not taking the effort of this pose. Use the glutes. Release. And take the legs side to side. Releasing them. Good. Legs come down. Inhale, press back up. Child's pose, clear that out. Taking a twisted child. One hand up, turn it onto the body, give it a twist. Coming up on the fingers, advancing that twist if you want. Stretching one leg back. You can take that hand behind the back, that feels good. You can lift that leg for core. Don't pressure the neck in this one, please. Release, knee down, come out, and undo, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Let's go the other side. So we open up, thread the needle, bring it through, come down into our child's pose. Choose if we're going to stretch back through that upper leg. Choose if we're going to lift it, if we're going to tuck that arm. And we bring it back through. Good. And we unwind and we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those hands down. We're going to walk them back forward, and we're going to snake it down, keeping the hips up. So chest down, hips up. That's the only thing. Chest to the floor, knees to the floor, hips up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Settle. Rock side to side. Shake it out. Go ahead and roll over onto your back. So here would be a nice place for you to have the blocks. So I'll show you. You don't have to, but if inversions are new for you, then you might really enjoy those blocks. So I'm going to take the blocks, and I'm going to bring them up under the hips. So walking the shoulders together, maybe starting on one block. If you are new to this, you have hip-knee concern, you're definitely going to bring the feet a little further away. If you are progressing in this and you're pretty much, you've stabilized all the joints in the body, you don't have any conditions there, you can bring the feet a little closer and start to lift up a little higher. From there, you can increase the height, shoulders in, and we draw up. Don't let the legs flare out. Lift the chest. Draw. Use the glutes. Hug the inner thighs. Lift, lift, lift. Releasing down when you're ready. Any level that feels comfortable. So you can have 1 block, 2 blocks, and we're going into that nice inversion. Try lifting just one leg. Maybe switch it out. Maybe do both legs. Keep the chest lifted. Keep the legs active. You can take shoulder stand if it's in your practice. We're going to release those legs, feet down, lift the hips, slide the blocks, hug the knees. Good. You can go side to side. We're going to go up and down the spine or to a seated posture in a different way. So we're going to bring the feet, soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Inhale, lengthen up, trying to draw those heels towards the hips. Glutes walk behind, sits bones walk behind. You can put blocks under the knees. If there's knee pain or discomfort, press the sole of the foot together, lift up through the chest. Exhale, navel to spine. Hinge at the hips, please. Draw forward in the chest, part way. Good breath. Eyes soft, being completely inward now. We're heading for Shavasana. So it's just you and your breath, your body. Remember from the beginning of the practice when we talked about looking through all of time, the time of all our ancestors and beyond the planet, and how each moment is filled with different content. So this moment looks different than the beginning when we did our centering, but it's still the present moment. So we just let the content move through us. Inhale, come up, draw those legs to center, bring them into the middle. And here we're going to go ahead and take a release. Shavasana, you should find a place where you won't move a muscle. So the feet a little wider releases the abdomen, the low abs and all the work we did there. The shoulders to the spine, chin in. And be prepared to stay still for a little bit of time without moving a muscle. Engage the breath. Fill the body with breath. Move the toes, the fingers, and gently rock the head. And slowly bend the knees, hug them to the chest, rock side to side, and eventually roll to one side in a ball. We support the head and stay here for a moment. When you're ready, push up. Come to a seated posture. We return the hands to that heart center. Thumbs and pinkies touch. The rest of the fingers open at the lower heart. We refresh our memory that the heart belongs to the emotion and time, the movement of experience, our timeline. Yoga asks us to allow that timeline to flow through us, unimpeded, without grasping, no aparigraha, no attachment. We don't resist. We walk through the timeline, trying to navigate beneficial and nourishing choices, taking those actions that will create the future that we wish to live in, the one with the least suffering. And we allow that outpouring of the past, but above all, we find a way to rest with contentment and ease in the present moment, sitting with the knowledge that change is the one constant, and that our level of happiness is in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty we can comfortably live with. If we know that timeline moves and the content of the moment changes, we can rest with ease, watching that change as the namaste within. I thank you for participating. I invite you to share this practice and send you a blissful day. Namaste.